Montgomery attacked Bobbie Jo and used the cord to strangle the pregnant woman until she lost consciousness. The shocking violence, however, didn't end there. Montgomery then used the knife she bought to make a crude incision into Bobbie Jo's abdomen, attempting to cut the baby from the womb. Hello true crime fans and welcome to Behind the Yellow Tape. Today we're delving into a case that shook the small tight-knit town of Skidmore, Missouri. A case of unbelievable violence driven by a desperate dark secret. We're talking about the murder of Bobbie Jo Stinnett. Bobbie Jo was just 23 years old in December 2004 and 8 months pregnant with her first child. She and her husband Zeb bred rat terrier dogs out of their modest home. This shared passion is what brought her killer into her life. The perpetrator, Lisa Montgomery, had connected with Bobbie Jo through an online dog breeding forum called Ratter Chatter. Montgomery, using the alias Darlene Fisher, had been feigning a pregnancy for months, even though she had previously undergone a tubo ligation, which was basically a steriline procedure. Her delusion was unravelling, and she had driven approximately 170 miles from her home in Malvern, Kansas to Skidmore, Missouri with a preconceived, heinous plan. On the 16th of December 2004, Montgomery arrived at the Stinnett home under false pretense of buying a puppy. She carried a knife and a white nylon cord. After the two women spoke for a time, investigators believe the attack began sometime after 2:30 p.m, just as Bobbie Jo's mother, Becky Harper, was expecting her daughter to pick her up from work. Montgomery attacked Bobbie Jo and used the cord to strangle the pregnant woman until she lost consciousness. The shocking violence, however, didn't end there. Montgomery then used the knife she bought to make a crude incision into Bobbie Jo's abdomen, attempting to cut the baby from the womb. This act caused Bobbie Jo to regain consciousness and a desperate struggle ensued for her life. During this struggle, Bobbie Jo inflicted scratches on her attacker, and prosecutors noted she had clutches of the attacker's blonde hair clenched in her fists. Montgomery was forced to strangle Bobbie Jo a second time, ultimately killing her, before finally extracting the baby. Montgomery then cut the umbilical cord and fled the scene, leaving the young mother's body in a pool of blood. She drove away, holding the newborn baby girl in her arms, pinching the umbilical cord to stop the bleeding. Bobbie Jo's mum, Becky Harper, arrived at the house shortly after 3:30 p.m. and discovered the horrifying scene: her daughter's body on the floor and the 8-month-old fetus gone. A frantic Amber Alert was issued for the missing infant. The immediate investigation focused on the internet communication. Investigators traced the IP address used by Darlene Fisher to the home of Lisa Montgomery. The next day, Montgomery was arrested in Kansas, where she was showing off the newborn to her family, claiming she had unexpectedly given birth at a clinic. The baby, miraculously, was alive and unharmed. She was later reunited with her father, Zeb Stinnett, and named Victoria Jo Stinnett. Lisa Montgomery was convicted of federal kidnapping, resulting in death in 2007, and was ultimately executed in 2021. This premeditated act of violence, born from a bizarre deceit, remains one of the most disturbing and detailed cases of fetal abduction in modern history. Thank you for listening today, and remember, stay behind the yellow tape.